My name is Danielle Leontina Price. I was born Danielle Cuff. I am 34 years old. I've given birth to two sets of twins with one son in the middle. I have done a lot of things in my life. I lived my life by the rearview mirror, if you will. Um, Again, this is kind of like a video diary. I'm doing this tonight because um, as I'm doing this, I don't really know how to get the word out to the rest of the world what's going on. I'm 34 years old. I have a rod in my spine from scoliosis. I have osteoarthritis, fibromyalgia, degenerative disc disease, a herniated disc in my neck, actually two. I've had surgeries on my knees. I've had surgeries on my feet. I have post-traumatic stress disease, ADHD, thyroiditis, other things like that. But nobody's ever been able to look at me and tell that I am disabled or a disabled citizen. I have been on disability since 2005. I have a son. My middle son is also on SSI because he has severe cognitive learning disabilities. I fought for that. I fought long and hard for that because I wanted him to have something in the world. I didn't want him to be 16 years old and feel that he was stupid and dumb and drop out with no hope. And yet here we are in 2010, almost 2011, and yes, the economy sucks. There's a lot of people out of work. In fact, more and more people are losing hope, losing their homes, turning to buying RVs, traveling the country. There's more of a gap between the rich and the poor. There's not really much of a middle class anymore. The middle class is becoming a higher middle class and a poor. There's not really a middle class, low middle class, and high middle class like there was when I was younger. So as I have gone out and traveled with my children to teach them, I took them out of public school because their father was murdered, their stepfather was murdered, and they started having emotional problems and acting out. And one teacher decided to tell my daughter that she was a bad egg. And my daughter was convinced that she was stupid. I have twin daughters. Um, the state decided when my children were born that I could not handle 5 children. My children were taken from me. I was charged with felony injury to child and taken to jail. There was no injury to my children or intent to cause injury, so I was given a plea bargain, and I was given a withheld judgment. I did supervised felony probation for 4 years. I got my 3 oldest children back. My 2 youngest children were taken from me in court when I was told that if I did not sign away my rights to my 2 youngest sons, I would lose all 5 of my children that day. My children were then adopted by the sheriff's deputy who transported me back and forth to court, and by his wife, who was the delivery room nurse in Kootenai County. I am very, very happy that they are loved and taken care of. I can't be happier for my sons that they have 2 homes that love them and want them and take good care of them. I love my sons. They have different names now, but I do write to them every month, send them gifts. There have been lapses in that, like when our home burnt down, things like that. They're in a better economic position than I am. However, when your grandparents were taking care of your parents, they were not necessarily in a good economic position. Birth control and things like that weren't around. Did that mean that they were not good parents? No. What it meant was that you provided a home for your children. Your children helped with the chores. They didn't even have indoor bathrooms a lot of times. But you worked together as a family and you took care of each other. And you worked hard, you played hard, you loved one another. You taught each other how to be a family, good morals, good ethics. You loved one another. As long as you provided a home for those children, a roof over their head, clothes on their backs, food in their bellies, love, nurturing, and family, that's what they needed. And I think that Child Protective Services is a good service as long as it's doing what its job is, which is to provide protection from abandonment, neglect, and abuse. It should not be there to make sure that it is policing how we parent our children. That's just my opinion. I needed someone to help me, not to tear my children apart from me, not to tear my family apart. Needless to say, here I am, 34, I'm raising my 3 children, and my body is falling apart. What started this whole video is that got a letter a few weeks ago saying that my SSI was being taken away. No big deal. I have disability and SSI. I receive $59 in SSI, but that SSI afforded me my Medicaid, which was my supplemental insurance to my Medicare. I let it go. They said it was because I received food stamps. Strange, considering that I had received food stamps from the time that I got it. I received a letter yesterday stating that they were cutting my son off of his SSI because we didn't tell them where we lived and etc., etc. The one thing I have always been is an honest person. Honest to a fault. I tattle on myself honest. I've always contacted Social Security, always contacted welfare, always told them where we were at, what we were doing, blah, blah, blah. So I sit here in front of this webcam today to let whoever wants to watch this know I have to find some way to figure out how to fix it so that my broken body can make an income for my family. Because I would give anything to work. I would give anything to get out there and work. I don't care if it's working at McDonald's or digging ditches. But the satisfaction of a job well done was something I was raised with. Instead of laying in bed because I can't some days. And just because I look healthy, because I don't want people to know I'm hurting, because that shows weakness. And I spent plenty of time getting beaten by some of the men I was with. I don't want to show weakness. So I don't let people see that I'm hurt. I just want to know what we've come to in this world. Are we really a country that is free, or have we become a country that's out to let other people dictate who we are? So, before I go, because I really don't know how long my health will hold out, and I love my family more than I can tell you. My children, Ayla, Sonia, Benjamin, Kenton and Charles, who I gave birth names Anthony and Bowen to my late husband, Alex, to my mother and brother, to David, who I love with all my heart. I'm going to leave you with the Riddle song. It's a song I grew up with. A song I grew up singing to my babies. Because if no one ever gets to hear me sing it again, I want someone to hear it. Give my love a cherry that has no stone. I gave my love a chicken that has no bone. I gave my love a ring that has no end, and I gave my love a baby with no crying. It's the first verse. Thank you for listening.